When I first downloaded Chain Knuckles, I vaguely remembered seeing it in some event or presentation as a Chrono Trigger inspired game, but didn't think much of it. That's because I am skeptical of these games that marketed themselves as inspired by X game that you love. But after playing it and now writing this review, I'm glad I played it. Since it's inspired by Chrono Trigger, you can already tell it is a turn-based JRPG, and a dense one at that. It has a deep combat mechanic with lots of character customization. Let's start with combat. It has a standard turn-based system with two twists. One is an Ultra Move bar, a bar that fills as you deal and take damage, and once it is full, it allows one of the party members to perform a big action unique to each character, and the second and most important one is an Overdrive bar. It has a pointer that moves through the bar depending on the actions in the battle. Leaving the pointer in the green section of the bar leaves the party in an overdrive state, which gives bonuses such as better offense and defense, but letting it go to the red area will put it in an overheat state, which gives penalties. As mentioned before, the character customization is also very deep, since the characters don't level up in a linear manner. You can earn skill points SP and Grimoire shards GS, and use them to strengthen your party. You earn SP by fighting battles and you use it to level up your skills, making them stronger and or cheaper to use. And you use GS to unlock new skills or increase your stats. You can earn it by doing quests or performing specific tasks described in the reward board. Another aspect of customization are crystals, items that you can find throughout the games that when set into your armor and weapon grant additional buffs and perks to the party members. It is very similar to the materia system of FF7. About halfway through the game you also unlock sky armors, mechas that you can use to explore previously unreachable areas and fight tough monsters that you can't fight while on foot. This opens the exploration aspect of the game even more and makes revisiting old areas rewarding. Speaking of exploration, Chain Knuckles does a fairly good job on this aspect as well, really rewarding players to take their time to explore the map and find everything in it. You rarely have to buy equipment in shops if you take your time to find everything around the areas in the game. Chain Knuckles is a love letter to JRPGs, but while playing through it, you can also see some of the gripes the developer has with the genre and try to avoid with this game. The Overdrive bar is a prime example of that. But another one is the story. It is much more mature in the way it approaches the overall story and its characters. It also has a bunch of twists and turns in the story, which can make for quite a surprise sometimes. That said, sometimes the game overdoes it. There are moments where by trying to be a more gritty story, it exaggerates and just turns into edgy. And some of the twists it does in the story end up not really having any impact. It just drops a twist on you just to right after the cutscene keep going as if nothing happened. Sometimes during quests it will also give dialogue options for the player to shape the quest, but very few have meaningful impact. For the most part it will just be a slightly different dialogue or some different reward. Keeping with problems, the pixel art style is good, but very generic. You wouldn't be at fault for confusing most of the environments in this game for environments in other RPGs, and you run into invisible walls constantly. Also, as the story goes you unlock more and more characters, but with each new addition they feel less and less important. The optional characters also don't bring much to the table, to the point where I feel some of them would have been better if they weren't an option at all. The combat also has issues. It is balanced around the overdrive bar to the point where enemies are made spongy just to force the fight to last long enough for the player to potentially run into overheat. Sky armors are cool, but the sections they are needed are too sparse to justify them. The developer wanted to have cool mechas in the game, which is fine, but it runs in what I think is the main reason behind the game's issues, lack of resources. This game is basically done by a one-man team, Matthias with a few extra people helping with other aspects, but the scope of the game was too big for just one person. Everything this game does, it does well, but it always has some issue. Even navigating the menus can be clunky at times. Chained Echoes ends up as a good game still, but it doesn't reach its potential greatness due to a lack of either time, money, or people. This was my review for Chained Echoes. If you agree or disagree, leave a comment below, subscribe, and I'll see you around.